I don't like triple threat matches by and large, it's true. But what I do like, this triple threat video series. I hope you guys do too. Alrighty, it's time for another one this week. 3 topics, 3 minutes or less, hopefully, for each one. And I'm ready to begin right about now. I realize that a lot of you didn't like Ryback when he came on the scene in 2012. Some of you probably still don't like him now. But I've always kind of liked Ryback. I really have. He's one of those guys that I actually enjoy watching, believe it or not. I like his shtick. I like his gimmick. I especially like his shtick and gimmick now. You know, I like to see variety. I like to see guys that do flips and kicks. I like to see those guys that can do a little bit of everything. I like to see those guys that can talk, those guys that can really act well. I like to see those muscle-bound guys. I like to see the big giants. I like to see a plethora of things. I'm not just one that just wants one style or one type of thing, and that's it. So I understand that the company needs guys like Ryback, even when the company maybe necessarily doesn't realize that they need guys like Ryback. And I look at a guy, and I see somebody that still has money written all over him. I still see a guy that could be a big star for this company, and I really hope the company does better by him in 2015 because they need new, fresh faces at the top, as we talk about so often. Fans are tired of seeing them. Some people are concerned about whether Reigns is ready for that spot or if he's just going to get the Cena 2.0 treatment. You know, we need new, fresh top stars, especially on the babyface side, especially those kind of monster babyfaces, and Ryback could be that guy. And frankly, I think the WWE is now paying the price for the fact that they screwed up with Ryback because now, heading into WrestleMania 31, you know damn good and well they want to go with Reigns and Lesnar. They might have to audible, but at this moment, that's where they want to go. But imagine how much better it would be and how much more people would look forward to it if it was Lesnar defending against a well-built Ryback at a WrestleMania 31, a Ryback that had 2+ years of slowly being built up, progressing up the card, getting signature victories at Big Four pay-per-views against an increasingly competent level of competition, if you will, the way you used to build stars like the Austins and the Rocks, the Ultimate Warriors, frankly, even the Triple H's of the fucking world. Just imagine. You know, I talked in a video this past week about WrestleMania 31 problem for the WWE and the fact they didn't have a main event. Well, if you had a well-built-up Ryback taking on a Brock Lesnar, then you have that WrestleMania 31 main event. And I look at a guy like Ryback, and there's the potential to do so much more with him in the future that I hope this company understands that and goes with him going forward. Because frankly, I think there's appeal there even with the fans, even the more serious hardcore fans that don't even like the guy. Because at least if nothing else, he feels like one of those guys that you really like a Dolph Ziggler type or somebody like that. Because you saw Ryback get that rocket ship push, unlike a lot of these other guys get. But then he was screwed up. They sent him at Punk. They did stupid stuff with him. Then he lost, and then he lost. And then he lost at WrestleMania 29 when he had no business losing. He didn't win the Royal Rumble. Instead, he lost to Cena, so people can relate to him. Then he got stuck with Heyman. Then he got freaking stuck with Curtis Axel. Then he got fucking buried. And then he's been gone for a while. So people can actually relate to him now. People actually can get behind him because they feel like in some ways he's paid his dues and he's paid a price. And now maybe he deserves that spot at the top, in spite of what CM Punk might fucking say about him. So I really hope this company gets it right with Ryback in 2015. Have him beat Rusev at WrestleMania. Give him a feud or two that people can really get behind him with. And then either at the end of the year of 2015 or maybe at the Royal Rumble 2016 or even WrestleMania 32, send him after the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Ryback can be a big star for this company. And they're being given a second chance to do something with him. I hope they take advantage of it. So I see that this past week, Robbie E. and Brooke from TNA were on the Amazing Race, made it all the way to the Final Four, and ultimately came up short. You know, deep down I was rooting for him. I was hoping the best for him. I wasn't watching the show or anything, but I was hoping they were going to win the $1 million. I was hoping that they were going to go all the way because, I thought, you know, maybe this would be something good for professional wrestling. It would be these guys representing professional wrestling well. And based off of some of the clips that I saw from the show, like when you post on the different websites, you know, on YouTube, it seems like they represented professional wrestling really well. So my hat's off to them. You know, congratulations for making it to that Final Four. Yeah, apparently you got lost in America, which has got to be kind of embarrassing. You did all that other crap, and then you got lost in this country. But hey, shit happens. What are you going to do? There's one winner and everybody else is a loser. But you should feel like winners for getting that far. And it's just been kind of a shame to me because I don't feel like TNA has really... Maybe I've been out of the loop a lot on this, but it doesn't feel like TNA has really hyped this up. It doesn't feel like TNA has made nearly big enough of a deal about this. They haven't nearly talked about this as much as they should based off of what I see on my social media feed and, you know, different websites, what have you. Frankly, I think more people in professional wrestling in general should have been talking about this, should have been promoting this, should have been hyping this up. Here is legit mainstream exposure on a free over-the-air network like CBS for your business as a whole. And instead, so many people in professional wrestling are talking about this fucking movie or bitching about this airline and losing their baggage. You know, they're sitting there pumping up UFC and talking about this shit, and they're not talking about something that could actually have some positive ramifications for the professional wrestling business. I don't even want to just bury TNA on this. I think I could just bury the entire wrestling industry as a whole. You stupid fucks. You need all the mainstream publicity you could possibly get at this point. Frankly, I don't even care if it's WWE promoting a TNA pair of talents. That's what should have happened. It would have been a good thing for the business to get people talking about it, to get people excited about it, because this is legitimate mainstream exposure week after week after week. This is not a one-off appearance. Robbie and Brooke have been on TV for months now as part of the Amazing Race, and I've been very disappointed to see so many people in the wrestling business just turn a blind eye to it and act like they don't give a fuck about it. No wonder the wrestling business is in the damn shape it's in. No wonder it doesn't get nearly the mainstream exposure or press or coverage that it once did. Because even when you do, you don't do anything to promote that. You don't do anything to market that. And all I've got to say to all of you is shame on you. When it comes to wrestling, Hulk Hogan is my be-all, end-all. He is that standard bearer. He is, to me, the greatest of all time. He's my all-time favorite, scripty, skippy, whoop-de-woo. But in recent years, Hulk Hogan has frustrated me with some of the things that he's done, you know, both in his personal life and in his professional life as well. But it's still Hogan, you know. So frankly, sometimes, yes, I give him a free pass because he's earned that free pass to me at least. But now we get to the point now that every time Hulk Hogan opens his mouth, I almost cringe. Every time I see Hulk Hogan, I'm almost like, oh God, what's he going to do to embarrass himself now? And, you know, you got Hogan sitting there acting like he wants to work an angle with Austin, calling him a coward, talking about how he's the bigger star. You know, he's talking about he wants one more match at WrestleMania. He might want one more title run. And I just say, Hulk Hogan, please shut the hell up. Nobody gives a fuck. This is coming from me. You were in your goddamn 60s. Stop talking about Austin being a coward. Nobody gives a shit about that anymore. Austin himself's in his late fucking 40s. I'd hardly want to see him wrestle another match unless it was against maybe a CM Punk. I most certainly wouldn't want to see him wrestling against a guy with a bunch of shit in his back in his early fucking 60s. One more match, one more title run. I don't want to see any of that out of Hogan. Frankly, Hulk, you can barely get through a promo segment anymore the rare times that you appear without botching one or several of your fucking lines. And at some point in time, it's got to stop being about the Hulkster. It's got to be about the business. To this day, there is no more well-known professional wrestler in the world than Hulk Hogan. There is no potentially greater ambassador for the form of entertainment than Hulk Hogan. No more well-known mainstream wrestling name than Hulk Hogan. You could take The Rock, But then how much of that comes from his movie career and not just the wrestling? Hogan is professional wrestling's most well-known figure. Therefore, can be its greatest ambassador. Hulk, stop talking about winning another match at Mania. Stop talking about one more title run. Stop talking about Austin being a fucking coward because nobody gives a shit. Start being that ambassador that this sport so desperately needs. Start being that guy that helps bring more mainstream eyeballs to the product, again, that this business so desperately needs. Instead of talking about the fact that you want to wrestle John Cena and that you want to wrestle Stone Cold Steve Austin, why don't you talk about the future of the damn company? Why don't you sit there and use your great power that you still can wield and still have to talk about how awesome you think a Dean Ambrose is, or a Bray Wyatt is, or a Seth Rollins is, or a Ryback is, or a Roman Reigns is? Why not use your energies to help a Cesaro? At some point in time, it just can't be about you any damn more. And at some point in time, you have to understand that the best way to put yourself over is by putting other people over. This is something that John Cena has to figure out himself in terms of being the top guy of the WWE. Well, Hogan, by this point in time, you've been in the business so damn long, you should know better. I love you to death. You'll always be my favorite. But stop talking about Austin being a coward. Stop talking about one last title run. Stop talking about this and that. Start talking about the future of the damn WWE. If people ask you questions about this or that and try to bait you into this crap, then don't do it. Work around it and talk about something else. It's a shame to see what you've become, frankly.